So Ari Spears, he had fat shamed Lizzo, and it was interesting because I started watching Lizzo stuff, so I was watching her thing. So then I started just looking at I was watching like fashion because I know in fashion, for those of you who don't know, in fashion they've started doing the whole we need plus size runway models. We want fashion to encompass all bodies. So before, when you saw people on the catwalk, you only saw very skinny women and very Adonis looking men walking down the catwalk. And because now it was explained to me that the reason why all the models in the past used to look the same and have the same body type is because the models were essentially, and please don't get offended by this, were essentially live mannequins. Because the attention wasn't on the model, it was on the clothing. So the models were at least showing how the clothes look on the body. So it wasn't really about the models, it was about the clothing. But now we've gone further and our thinking, saying, well, since we have an immense amount of body types, we should see these clothes on different body types. We should make clothes for the different body types. But it specifically went to the female side of the modeling industry. So that's so everybody was kind of like, okay, cool. And now when you watch a lot of these runway shows, because I was doing research on this, so I've watched about 30 runway shows. But in the runway shows, it's funny because this is this is my own personal opinion. There's many different ones. There are very few that have fat men. So at first I was watching these runway shows, and and my wife was like, she sees for YouTube, they have all the runway shows pop up on my feed because I've been watching them. So she's like, oh, I see what you're watching. I'm like, yeah, I've been watching them. So we were watching it together. I was like, I'll show you why. So at the beginning, they have these beautiful, attractive, slim women, the same thing like we always see. And then it's like they get progressively fatter until they get to like this, in the middle of the show, you have this huge, beautiful plus size woman going down. And you're like, oh, okay. And then they get gradually slimmer. And then at the end, you have the slim women again. So I'm like, oh. So, you kept seeing kind of this pattern. Like, they always start off with these skinny women. Middle, you get the fat women. And then at the end, you get the skinny women again, which is fine. So then I started seeing some that had the men models. So I was like, oh, let me see if they do the same thing with the men models. The men models were all slim. It was like slim all the way through. I was like, oh, okay. So then I was like, oh, let me see if this is just like a one-time thing. So then I started seeing some runway shows. I think Rihanna did a runway show where she had some fat models, but they were extremely hard to find. I'm finding all these ones with slim models. So then, in looking for it, I found this article and that was calling it out. It was almost like it was made for me. So let me share this article. So this article is from the Daily Mail, which is a London rag, but broken clocks are right twice a day. Meijer is accused of having a double standard over its offensive new underwear catalog. So you can tell why everyone's upset. So Meijer has been slammed for having impossible beauty standards for men. The complaints came following the release of their new underwear catalog. 3 male models used for the catalog's front page are extremely fit. So then I was like, okay, let's look, right? Because don't forget, we were doing the standards for men, but we weren't doing. So here's the catalog, and here's what the women look like. So you have this, regular model, essentially. Then you have this plus size model. Then you kind of have this regular model, plus size, and older model. Then you have another plus size model, under there, lingerie and sleepwear. Then you have this, older plus size woman, right? Many different body types. We're celebrating women's body types. Yeah. So then we go down to the men's underwear. And for the men, these are no dad bods. Look at these guys. All of them beautiful, handsome, six-pack men. So people are like, what the hell, man? Is there a double standard? So this is where this came from. So I tweeted about this, and this is the tweet I showed you guys earlier. But this is it. We are, if we can celebrate the different bodies of women, why can't we celebrate the different bodies of men? Oh my God. So Myers came under some, here it is. It says Myers has been slammed for continuing to portray impossible beauty standards following the release of its latest catalog. Something positive is going on at Myers, but seems half marketing department didn't get the memo. One man said, sharing a photo of the catalog on Reddit. So so they have these crazy beauty standards for men, and they're getting called out. Right? This is unfair. Why have these impossible standards for men? So my question to you guys is: this a double standard? Is this a double standard? Is there a double standard in fashion for men? Is it okay to demand that women have certain body types? I mean, that men have certain body types, but women don't? That's essentially what's being asked here. The retailer told Female the catalog was part of a 3-week campaign that includes men of all shapes and sizes, showing the diversity of the Australian community. Furious customers could have their say, with many claiming society seems to have reached its peak with toxic body language. So now let me show you what they consider to be a plus size male model. So they have one in here. So this is the women's lingerie. So this is what, so Myers said, okay, let me show you some of our plus size male models. So here it is. Here's their plus size male model. This guy isn't like, this is average body male model. This isn't plus size male model. So is this enough to say that they're diverse and they're this is their diversity, people? Is this enough? Is this guy a plus size male model? Is that what we got here? Is that got a plus size male model? That's who they're saying. They're saying, yes, we had this guy was in the catalog and he's a plus size model. I do want to ask you guys, what do you guys think about this story? Do you think this is unfair standard for men in fashion? This is the standard. This is what the men have to look like. This is what the women have to look like. I think there's a double standard. I think there's a double standard.